Hey guys, what is up? Finally, almost the beginning of May, and we're getting around to our second walk and talk for our series of the new year. I think the last one I did was in January, and I will just say life has been lifing to the max. So full. The ups and the downs and all the things, right? Such is life. So it's taken me a minute to get to our next episode, but I'm excited to share today. I know when I first launched the Walk and Talk series, I really wanted it to be like girlfriends hanging out and literally just walking and talking and sharing. Ooh, it's a windy. And so that's my hope for today. Today's more like a story and kind of just sharing a story of us, or the story of us, my husband and I. Brad and I will be married 27 years in October, and we've been together 28. So what a gift and a blessing. And it started in a not so natural way. Okay, so 28 years ago, it was in November, I believe. I was out with a girlfriend going to meet a couple of guys, a couple of other male friends, and we were going to Muncie. It was not a place I was allowed to go. I probably wasn't completely honest, living my best high school life, right? I'm kind of being facetious. I was walking on a little bit of the wild side back then. I would think you could say Brad and I both were. Just being a teenager. But anyhow, I was at this party. I wouldn't even call it a party, a gathering. And I was there to meet, like I said, this other male friend. And I just remember looking across and locking eyes with someone else. It's so sweet to think back on. We didn't know each other at all. I had never seen Brad before, but I knew he seemed mysterious a little bit, and I liked it. But the really funny part is I think he maybe felt the same way. Well, I know he did, because around 10 o'clock I had to leave, and I found out later he could not understand why a girl in college, quote unquote, would have to leave a gathering at like 10 o'clock at night. Well, little did he know I had to be home. So he thought I was going to another party. Ooh. So funny. So he tells me now, he knew when he saw me that he just needed to know me more. So I don't know if that's his exact words, but anyways, that night he came running out after me, not the one that I went to see, but the one that the Lord ordained on that very night. He came out and asked me for my phone number, and of course I think I gave it to him. To be honest, I'm not even sure, but I know that my girlfriend was going to meet this other guy, and they were friends. Anyways, so that was our first night meeting, and it's just a funny memory to think back on. Well, a couple of days later, maybe even the next day, it was Thanksgiving, and I begged my mom to let me go see this new guy that I met at Taco Bell. And so we went to Taco Bell and met. And then something so funny, I remember he had a Mercedes, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And so I asked him if I could drive his car, and ladies, he said yes. And it was like, wait, you're a dude with a Mercedes, really nice, and you're gonna let me drive it? Instantly I felt like, this is gonna go somewhere. Oh my gosh. So those were the first couple days of our being together. It was a fast relationship. We moved at a really quick pace. to be really honest, I think I know we both had been in some really hard relationships before. And I think we both could tell that this was different and that we were different than people that we had been with in the past. And it showed in it showed how fast things moved. And looking back, I just think like it's so cool to think how God just went before us in so many ways. So I think he bought me not the ring, but a very special ring. I actually still wear it every day, like a month after we'd been dating. And I'm like, okay, let me drive his car. He bought me a ring. He's saying all the right things. He's super mysterious and romantic. Oh goodness, I even remember okay, so here's the other kicker. I didn't even get there yet. I'm in high school still. He is not. We came to figure all that out, obviously, right away. He was, or is 3 years older than me, so he was already living his best life, working full time, and here I am, a junior in high school. And so we, like I said, quickly started progressing, and he would send me flowers to school. So precious. He would write me poems. I remember being at the lunch table, and all these girls were like, who is this guy? My friends were just in awe of how sweet he was. We all kind of were. I wasn't used to that. So those are special memories. Fast forward to 6 months. And okay, let me say this before I say this next part. I do not think that premarital sex is the way to go. So if you're young and you're listening, I would not advise it ever. Waiting until you're married is the biggest gift, okay? However, I will say 6 months later, I was pregnant. It was the summer before my senior year, 1 month before my 18th birthday. And we found out that we were going to be parents. And, sometimes I think that happens and people are like, oh, what are we going to do? There was no, what are we going to do? We knew what we were going to do. We were going to be parents of this beautiful baby that the Lord had already chosen for us. So, again, I don't, condone that, but man, God has just been so good through a lot of circumstances that have been hard. So we decide to obviously make the most of it, and actually we decided to get married. Best decision ever. Truly. A lot of things in 27 years. So we decided to get married. This is funny. I'm laughing and crying. I start my senior year. I'll never forget it. With a wedding ring on. We were in the process of buying a house. I'm wearing overalls and I'm pregnant. You have to laugh, right? But it was just one of those times when things felt uncertain, but also so certain. And so, yeah, that was an interesting time, in a really cool way. But so we quickly fell in love. We quickly became pregnant, and we quickly got married. We married less than a year of meeting each other, and had the most simple, beautiful wedding. Just intimate friends, and we threw it together in, I want to say, less than 6 weeks. And really special memories with that, as every wedding should be. I will say, I laugh sometimes nowadays at all of all of the proposals and all of the, how you have to have everything just perfect. Girlies, if you're young, listen. 27 years later, my proposal was perfect. It was in my bedroom. He gave me a ring. We listened to Keith Sweat, and he asked me to marry him. Keith Sweat, if you know, you know. That's just a special memory. I don't know. It was perfect just the way it was. So fast forward to our wedding. Lovely and great. I'll never forget. We stayed at the Best Western one night, like 2 blocks from our house. And remember, I'm pregnant. And it was quite the honeymoon. Best Western, the night we got married, and then we went to Bob Evans for breakfast the next morning. And I just remember looking over, seeing my now husband touching his wedding ring the entire breakfast. And I'm thinking, oh dear. But no, it was just such a sweet moment because we were so young. We had no clue, if I am being honest, and I think he would say the same thing, what we were even doing. But we were choosing each other, and we were choosing to raise our baby together, and we were choosing to start our life together. And when I look back on how God has carried us through so much, I just can't help but think that, it's the truth that he just knew. He knew then, and he chose Brad to be my husband. And like I said, I'm eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful for our marriage and for the way that we continue to pursue each other and to choose each other. And guys, as I'm talking about it, I'm thinking we get married and we think, I'm so in love and attracted, and it's like the honeymoon stage and everything's beautiful. But as you grow older together and in marriage, a lot of that stuff isn't even important anymore. Things that matter are moments and choices and trials that you go through together, that you come out stronger. Seasons, there's hard seasons, there's beautiful seasons, there's growth, and there's also heartache though. And I'm thankful for all of it. I really am. And I love the redemption that came through, those early years of, learning how to parent at the age of 18, graduating high school early so that I could get a job. So that's where we left off. I graduated in December of my senior year and was able to have a job before our first child, our oldest, was born. And we figured it out. And I think a lot of people back then would have said, yeah, all right, let's see how long this lasts. But I'm so thankful, so thankful for the gift of him and the gift of our marriage and the way the Lord chose to make something a baby's beautiful and perfect, so I look at it like that. He just allowed for the blessing of our relationship to grow and to continue to do that. So never would I have thought 28 years ago I would have met the love of my life right smack in some apartments at Muncie, but I did. It's a sweet memory, and I'm grateful for it. It's warming up out here. it was quite windy on the way out, so hopefully you could hear me okay. But yeah, that's the fun story of us. It's good to think back and it's good to laugh. I wonder what your story is. I would love to hear. Do you have some fun memories of when you first met your spouse, or some fun memories of just different things of when your life started together? I would love to hear that. You could share it with me, and yeah, that would be super fun. So, all right, next Walk and Talk series, I'm not sure. I've got a lot of things in store, a lot of things on my heart. I think I'm just going to ask the Lord to lead. And yeah, I don't know. Who knows what we're going to talk about? I feel like lately I'm in a season personally that's hard. And so being real and vulnerable with girlfriends, with friends, is important. And so, yeah, we'll see what that looks like for our next podcast. But thanks for listening, friends. Till next time.
So, I thought after hearing Laura's recollection that it might be fitting if I added a few thoughts. So yeah, we met in Muncie. I know during that time I was just kind of down. I was 19, almost 20 when we met, and she was in high school, and I think she mentioned, we've had past relationships that, even though you're young, like, you still feel that rejection. And I think I had got to a point where I did a lot of crazy things and partied and just chased after something, experimented with a lot of different things, but yeah, I got to a point where I was just down, and actually was seeing a counselor for a brief point. But yeah, mutual friend, we both happened to find ourselves there. I remember when she walked in, her and her friend, I was attracted to her instantly. Just assumed she was in college. She looked older, we played cards together and talked, and then suddenly she's leaving, and I didn't quite get to that point where it's like exchanging numbers, or even really at that leading up to that, it was just kind of little flirty stuff. But yeah, so we kind of, when they left, me and my buddy, he actually got the other girl's number. I had not got Laura's number at that point, but I remember pushing him to say something, and then we ended up meeting at Taco Bell, like she said. Things kind of moved quick, and she became pregnant. We ended up marrying in October of her senior year, had a house, and just the world was coming at us fast, and did the best that we could. And yeah, then baby number 2, and then fast forward several more years after that, and we had baby number 3, and then by that point I think I had turned 30. I remember in the hospital with Ryder, and yeah, that was hard. Some pretty hard nights, but a lot of prayer got us through those times, and but we just weren't prepared. I mean, you're never really prepared, right, for life. Our younger selves versus where we're at today, and that's really one thing I wanted to focus on as well. Is those first few years, you're figuring things out, raising families. As years go on, love grows into choices, and but and you can go through some hard times, outside influences, finances, raising children, dealing with the stresses and just trying to figure out who you are in that whole process. I'm still trying to figure that out, I think, but yeah. And so, but when you get to a certain point, and when you live with someone long enough, they're going to see your ugly side, skeletons. But I think that's where, if you just stay together, and you just choose and hold on, and you begin to, I think life can kind of teach you how to love and accept love in return. And I often call her the Jesus in my life, because she has seen me at my worst, and she has chosen to stick with me. And that means something, right, over time, that someone actually sees you and has chosen to stay. Because I think sometimes in those moments you feel like you're not worthy, so why would anyone see you as worthy? And you can build up walls and protect and guard, and it can be scary, I think, going through that, and fear of rejection. Sometimes I don't think we may not say we're in all moments feeling like, but I think there's just that undertone of rejection, right? Fear of rejection from the world, from those you care about, from God, and it's a vulnerable place to be. But since we have stayed together so long, it's been a beautiful thing to get to a point in our lives where we're coming up on 27 years, and our relationship has grown, especially over like the last 5 years or so. It just feels like or even 10, like it's just continued to grow. Like we've got to this point where it's like we're finishing each other's sentences. We laugh, we have our bird feeder, and we just enjoy watching that. Like she's got an app, and we can listen to all the birds in our yard and watch them. And we just like simple sitting down by a fire. You've probably seen that from some of her posts, or being by water and just kind of relaxing. I think that's just a season we're in. We're tired, it definitely isn't an easy season. Many days there's things we'd like to do differently or be better, as just individuals, but I feel like we've never been closer together. And we're just hoping that tomorrow just brings renewal. Hold on to hope, healing, stay close, definitely take things one day at a time. We're grandparents now, so that's a beautiful thing. Both of our older children are married, and Ryder's going to be 18 this year, and so much like all of you, we are taking life day by day, but we have gotten to a point where in our marriage that is perhaps more beautiful than I might have guessed. Some things you just have to go through to get there. You can't just jump to year 25, or you start in day one, and then if you honor that commitment and choose love every day, I think you begin to see what Christ's love looks like. How he loves the church and gives himself up for her, and all the flaws, that he just continues to love unconditionally. And then I think, when you learn to, I think it takes time to get to that place where the head knowledge of love becomes takes deeper root, I guess, in your heart. So, yeah, those are my added words. She said a lot of kind words, and as I was listening to it, I thought it might be fun to jump on here and add to that. She's a great wife, and I'm privileged that God brought us together. And this last little bit of I guess a song I'm going to add to the end, maybe a line or two, is part of a song that I have written to her. Many songs. With today's technology, it's kind of fun to I've never been like a Class A singer, but like she had mentioned, I've done poems, and I've always kind of been a thinker, and I've always loved music, but sometimes I can't even get through songs that touch me without tearing up. So that's probably why God didn't give me the voice to match my passion for music, because I don't know, it'd be hard for me to get through certain songs. But it's fun now that I can write songs, I can influence songs, I can put different styles and edits, but yeah, my hearing my words come to life in a way that tells our story has been a beautiful thing that I have enjoyed. So thanks for listening, and until next time.
Let's dream about tomorrow, where mercies are new, where hope is alive, waiting for you. Oh, the beauty, just give me a chance to find you all over again and again. Do you remember the time that we met? I'm gonna find you all over in this life and next.